What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Farinho Talks Milan. My apologies for not uploading the Verona Milan game. Of course, it was a very good 2-0 victory, and it was the performance that we needed before the Manchester United game. Now, on to the Manchester United vs Milan game. If you haven't seen it, it was a blinder. It was an absolutely fantastic performance from Milan, despite the 1-1 scoreline. I think it flattered Manchester United a bit, but we'll get into that later. Right now, I just want to thank Milan Reports for having me on their podcast in the week. You can catch them on Twitter at Milan Reports. I will leave a link in the description. Thank you, Vito, Matt, Martino. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys supporting Milan content creators. So yeah, go check them out. Here are 6 things we learned from the 1-1 draw at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Milan. Number 1, Milan with a strong performance. This was akin to the performance against Roma. I do think today the pressure was a lot higher, specifically because Milan were missing so many key players, Theo Hernandez, Hakan, Rebic, Ibrahimovic, Mandzukic, and even Romagnoli were missing from the game at Old Trafford. So there was a lot of pressure on the guys to perform, and they did that well. They did it from the first minute. They made sure to press as a unit and as a team. They really, really stamped their authority on the game. I don't think a lot of people were expecting much of this Milan team, and admittedly, I was one of them. I thought they'd play well. I didn't think they would play this well. That being said, they were unlucky on a few occasions, and they were lucky on a few occasions. Harry Maguire, of course, doing the most Harry Maguire thing ever, missing from point-blank range. It's inexplicable. Of course, the Kessie goal, which I will touch on later, and a few chances here and there for Manchester United to score, but they created chances of their own. They're playing with Salamakis, Krunic, and Diaz, and Leao up front is hardly the best attacking lineup Milan can put out. But I think they did really well, and they deserve some credit for that. They came out strong. They were pressing Manchester United very well, and they defended well, and I will break it down further in the episode. Number 2, Kessie's goal wrongly disallowed. I've probably watched that replay 50 times over, from multiple angles, and I still can't see the handball. I can't, The rules are, of course, a clear and obvious error. I don't think there was anything clear and obvious about that at all. The referee seemed to make the decision in a couple of seconds, so I don't know if there is a camera angle out there that shows it. Initially, I thought it was a foul throw on Calabria. I do think that was a foul throw. Of course, it's really punished nowadays. But I did see the official gesture handball when ruling the goal out. But here, 3 points that really stand out to me that would indicate that it wasn't, in actual fact, a handball. I don't know if you guys feel the same. You can let me know in the comments. For me, the biggest thing is the appeals, right? When Kessie controlled the ball, it was Matic, McTominay, and Maguire. I think it was McTominay. And none of them appealed. None of them appealed, right? It's so common to see this in games where even the slightest hint of a handball, and there's usually aggressive appeals to the officials, and they usually buy it. But in this case, there was none. And Matic had a clear view. Maguire had a clear view. Of course, the referee was standing behind Kessie, so he couldn't really see it. And from all the replays that I've seen, it really didn't show that it clearly struck the arm. The second thing for me is, if you've played football, you understand how the ball would react. From a throw-in, the ball doesn't have a lot of momentum. And to me, it looked like Kessie positioned himself to take the ball on, and the ball popped off his upper hip and abdomen area and set up nicely for a volley. That's actually quite common. You see a lot of players control the ball into space like that to move around. And when it does strike the arm, the ball tends to just lose momentum. It doesn't bounce anywhere. Even if your forearm is stiff next to your body, it reacts completely differently to when it bounces off a part of your body that you are shifting your momentum to try and move into a better space. And lastly, that this may seem trivial, it may seem really dumb, but again, I looked at this thing from every single angle. And I noticed from one of the angles from behind the Matic, you can see Kessie's shirt crease. And it's not just his movement, it's when the ball hits, the ball at this stage is behind Nemanja Matic, and it hits, I think, the upper left thigh abdomen area. And you can see his shirt crease as that contact is made, and you see the ball obviously move on where he struck the volley. Now, again, it's not exactly conclusive, but taking all of that into account, it's just a really bizarre decision. Majority of people have called it as a completely wrong decision. I think Paul Scholes actually said the goal should have stood. And yeah, it's just really disappointing because it was a fantastic goal and Kessie absolutely deserved it. Number 3, Kessie and MEITE in midfield. Now, it's no secret that MEITE started off poorly. He lacked good positioning. His touches on the ball were poor. He made some stupid errors that led to a couple of costly free kicks here and there. But to be honest, he was average. But against Manchester United, I feel like he took it to the next level. He was so reliable on the ball. His defensive awareness was fantastic in cutting out passes, marking the likes of Bruno Fernandes. That's not easy to do. And MEITE had to step up and rise to the occasion, and that's exactly what he did. And it got to a stage where you couldn't tell Kessie and MEITE apart. Yes, they have the same hairstyle, but in terms of what they were doing on that field, Kessie does that. He's been doing that for the whole season so far. He's been doing that for the second half of last year, and he's been fantastic. But to see MEITE really get into good positions, move the ball well, dribble well, strong on the ball, cutting down passes from the Manchester United players, intercepting the ball. It was just fantastic all round. And, we talk about what Tonali brings, what Benacer brings. We already know what they bring. And I think MEITE is finally showing what he's capable of. Between now and the end of the season, if he continues to perform like this, I know I've said in the past that he shouldn't be redeemed, but if he performs like this, it's hard to not exercise that option. I think it's for something like 9 million euros, it's really good for a depth signing, and it prevents Milan from having to go out and get another central midfielder. They might keep Tommaso Pobega. That remains to be seen. But yeah, credit to Kessie and MEITE today. They did their jobs fantastically well. They kept on running the entire game, and it was a great performance from the pair. Number 4, Simon Kjaer stands out. I don't often give players perfect performances, but I think Simon Kjaer's performance was as close as we've seen from him and from an individual defender this season. He's one of the seniors in the squad. He's one of the leaders. And there was a little moment where, he had a little bit of Martial, and Martial fell over, and they had words with each other. And you can see Kjaer mouthing off, "Oh, come on, man." And that's a big thing. You need someone with the temperament to deal with a situation like that. You need someone who can deal with those moments, not to give away a silly foul, not to bite when a player is trying to go down in the box. And he's just become such a critical part of Milan's success in terms of leadership. Him, Kessie, Donnarumma, I think those are your standout players, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Romagnoli as well. Those are very important pieces to this Milan puzzle. And he marshaled that defense really well. His defensive contributions aside, where obviously he was very solid, and Tomori as well. Attacking, I would say he was one of Milan's best passers of the ball. It was so crowded in Manchester United's midfield with Fernandes, Matic, McTominay. And of course, Telles and Wan-Bissaka like to push forward. And when they did that, the runners from midfield, the runners out wide, Leao up front as well, Kjaer saw their runs and he picked out passes inch perfect every single time. I haven't checked really what his pass percentage or his completion percentage of passes was in that game, but it was just a phenomenal advertisement of Simon Kjaer, as we've seen over the last few seasons. I think just coming together in one game. And of course, he finally scored his first Milan goal. It's been coming for a while. He's missed a few headers. He hit the post against Roma. And it was well deserved, I think, for Kjaer himself, but also for the team to get an away goal. Number 5, Milan have the advantage. I think a lot of our expectations heading into this Manchester United game were very low. I always felt that Milan had a go in them. My prediction before the game was 2-1. And I think it's really fair to say that Milan have exceeded our expectations. I think none of us were really expecting Milan to come out and get a 2-0 victory. You know, it was never going to happen with this sort of patched together Milan team. And that away goal was crucial for this tie. Going back to San Siro, you know, we expect players like Theo Hernandez, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and Ante Rebic to be fit again, and it's going to be a mammoth tie. The away goal gives Milan something to build off of. They go to Napoli on the weekend. That's going to be an interesting time. I think that they'll come away with a victory there. But that gives you the confidence to go into the second leg and play your game. You know, you won't be overwhelmed by Manchester United. You won't have to go out and score multiple goals. You know, even a 0-0 might suffice. We don't know that. But it's just important, I think, that the team perform the way they did. You know, this is Milan's B team. Yes, Manchester United were missing a few players, but that performance, I think, really instills a lot of fear in the opposition. The United were, for large parts of the game, completely dominated by this B team that Milan put out. And it just gives them the psychological advantage and, of course, the advantage in terms of results. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting second leg. I do think Milan will come out on top. You know, Manchester United will have, I think they'll have Rashford back. And again, Milan just need to play their game. If they play the way they did against Manchester United last night, I don't see how they can't come away with a win. Number 6, Pioli gets it spot on. In terms of his team selection, his hand was forced a little bit with so many absentees. There was really only one way Milan could have lined up. Of course, maybe Tonali and Castillejo coming to the starting lineup, but I feel like he got it perfect. Starting MEITE was a fantastic idea. They needed the physicality. Of course, Tonali wasn't 100%. Leaving Castillejo off and bringing in Krunic gave Milan the opportunity to sort of modify their approach to the game. And you can see this in the way they defended, playing three across midfield. Salamak is out wide, Leao wide left. Brahim Diaz as, you know, essentially a second striker, a false 9. In the defensive phase, that worked wonders for Milan. They really shut down Manchester United's midfield. And that also allowed Diogo Dalot and Calabria to play further out wide. And that neutralized Wan-Bissaka and Alex Telles. Manchester United found it very difficult to pass through the lines. MEITE was fantastic at intercepting the ball today. And it was just, his setup made it very difficult for Manchester United to break this Milan defense down. Of course, their goal came completely against the run of play. You can say Tomori should have been positioned a little better on that, but credit to Bruno Fernandes for spotting the pass, for spotting the run. Credit to Diallo for making that run. And it was a very good finish. So, you know, that you can't take anything away from that. But Milan played very well from the off. They pressed high. They pressurized that Manchester United team. They moved the ball around well. They didn't look uncomfortable. They didn't look like they were rushed into making decisions on the ball. They kept it flowing, kept it moving. They switched it up. They tried to play through the middle. They tried the long ball from Simon Kjaer. And it was just a really good advertisement of what Pioli is capable of. Milan fans, myself included, were wondering, okay, so he's given us a run of form that has been absolutely fantastic. The squad has been overachieving. I think it's fair to say that. But does he have an extra gear? And today, I think he provided that. I think he was the biggest part of Milan's success last night. And all credit goes to him for the way he's set up. We need to see more of this in the second leg versus Manchester United. I, for one, am excited. Again, I think I will be hurt if Milan do go out. I think they are in the driver's seat. They do have the advantage and they should win. But he just needs to give us more of the same. And in the last 12 games of the season, he needs to give us more of the same. I still think he should keep his job heading into the Champions League. And look, let me know if Milan are out of the Champions League, do you think they should keep him? No, I think there's better candidates out there, but he's done fantastic work. And, when Milan bring in better players, it remains to be seen if he can take it to an even higher level. Now, I'm not going to do the traditional one-by-one player ratings. Instead, I'm just going to give an overall look. My man of the match was Simon Kjaer and maybe Kessie. Having looked at it again, Kessie was a tank, yes, but MEITE was too. I think to rise above and beyond, particularly when the forward unit are not scoring. Simon Kjaer from the corner was absolutely vital. He didn't put a foot wrong in defense, and he was just fantastic all round. I think in terms of the flop of the match, I won't go far as to calling it a flop. I think Brahim Diaz was the poorest on the field, and he was functional. At best, he was functional. He played a few good passes here and there, but it's not enough to warrant selection week in, week out. So yeah, overall, I think the team did fantastic as a unit, and it was a near perfect performance, minus a few details. Tomori on the Diallo goal, the one opportunity Daniel James had that messed up. I think the Milan's defense were beaten a little too easy. Of course, the finishing, Krunic had a header on the one side. So it's these small details that you can nitpick. But, it was a good performance, and credit where it's due. The entire unit pulled together, and Pioli, well done. Much needed performance. As always, thank you everyone for supporting my content. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, turn the notifications on. The next game is against Napoli, so I will be doing another video like this then, and then the Manchester United game afterwards. I wanted to do a speed art of a Milan player, so in the comments, let me know, who you want me to draw. I already did one of Donnarumma and Hakan Çalhanoğlu. I'm thinking maybe Tonali, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Kessie, give me an idea. Let me know what you think. But yeah, thank you once again. And lastly, Forza Milan.